And we also have some special guests that are going to be coming in today, which is also going to be Mr. Mike Galley and Mark Moon. They have been on Tampa Home Talk before, as you may remember, and they're with Sun Paints and Dyco, and they're doing some pretty cool stuff in regards to, shifting what they do. And so we've heard about alcohol companies like breweries and stuff making hand sanitizers and that sort of stuff. Well, this paint company is doing the very same thing. And if you don't remember what we told you last time about Sun Paints and Dyco, they're a family-owned business. The owners live right here in Tampa Bay, and they've been around since 1967. They have very long-standing ties in the community to local churches and schools. And there's 5 area locations, and they actually have a 6th one in Ocala. Not only do they manufacture and distribute all the Dyco branded products, but they're also an authorized dealer of Benjamin Moore paint.
I love that paint.
PPG
That's
paint.
an awesome paint. My favorite paint's Benjamin Moore paint.
Why is that?
It's actually down on the chemical level, the way that Benjamin Moore injects the coloring into their paint molecules. A lot of other companies have the molecule of paint on the outside. That's where your color is, but Benjamin Moore actually has a process where the paint colors throughout the whole thing, so it lasts longer, it doesn't fade as much. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You are not wrong.
And that's why I love the Benjamin Moore paint products.
Are we on a speakerphone there, Mark?
Yes.
You might want to take us off. It does sound a little echoey on the air. Does it sound the same to you, Pat?
Yeah, he needs to probably. There we go.
Yeah, go ahead and put in like
We are.
or pick us up directly on your cell phone because it's a little bit of a.
Yep.
Okay. How's that?
Is that better?
Oh, much better.
Yes.
Much better.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about what's new in your community, what you guys are doing to help among all this crazy COVID-19 stuff that we are still seeing. And then we also have some really great giveaways to give out to the person listening. And these are they discount cards? Is that right? Or vouchers?
They are vouchers for community discounts.
Okay.
For PPG, Benjamin Moore, and Dyco.
And what's the discount on these? Do we know?
With those cards, they'll be able to come into any of our stores and then be able to purchase a product, whether it be paint or sundries and related items, at contractor pricing.
Great. How much difference is that from retail pricing?
Typically, it's about 20%.
Okay. Awesome.
Why do contractors charge me so much?
So we're gonna give these away here in just a little bit, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you guys are doing now, as it relates to things in the the hand sanitizer world and just things we've had to modify right in this whole COVID-19 era that we now live in, at least temporarily.
Right. Well, things obviously with the COVID-19 and things, the models have to change, and otherwise you're not going to survive. So we looked at things, and the first thing that we wanted to do was be able to participate in helping the community. Like I said, it's a family-owned business, and the family lives in the community. They've always been involved in charitable, opportunities, and so they wanted to see how they could help. And so with the manufacturing of the hand sanitizer, they started the very first batches that they started making were all delivered at free of charge to the people who are first responders and people on the front lines of the pandemic. People like the Tampa Police Department and Tampa Fire Rescue. We made deliveries to MacDill Air Force Base and Moffett Cancer Center and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Bay Pines VA Center. So we've been trying to participate in helping the community as much as we can, and in addition to that, we wanted to make it available to the general public through our retail stores. So we've bottled it up and made it available through that, through the store locations as well.
That's really great. So how much did you guys have to change things from a manufacturer standpoint to be able to do this, right? With kind of like an immediate demand, you're changing what you're making.
Yes, and it's not the simplest thing in the world, because you have to get your formulation has to comply with what the EPA and the CDC guidelines are for hand sanitizer. you have to get permission and be permitted in order to manufacture that to their standards. And so we had to go through that, and then finding the raw materials to manufacture it is always a challenge because there's so high demand for that. But through our resources, we're able to do that, and we're very happy about that, and happy to be able to shift some of this and keep people working and manufacture that and getting it out to the public.
So what was how long did it take you to change things around? And what is the hand sanitizer you're making actually made up of? Like, how effective is it as well?
Well, it was probably about, I would say, a process that took maybe a month to get rolling. The product is made up of 75% isopropyl alcohol. Now, it says, it states on the bottle, it's a non-sterile solution, and some people have asked a question about that, and I can explain that. That just means that the product itself is great for sterilizing, but it was not manufactured in what was called a clean room. So that this product should not be used in surgical rooms because it's a non-sterile solution. But it's perfectly fine for every other application. But it's 75% isopropyl alcohol, includes glycerin, hydrogen peroxide, purified water. It follows the guidelines for manufacturing to the letter of the law because we have to.
Now, is there stronger than 75%? Because I know, I go to the store or the grocery store and I can buy either 70% or 91% isopropyl, and I know you can't really get it above 95% without using benzene. So is there a reason why? Is it just the gelatin that you need to keep it at 75%? Ours is pretty liquid. It's not a gel. The 75% alcohol is the standard that you have to hit. I suppose that there are other formulations that can be higher concentrations, but the actual formula that is recommended through those guidelines is 75%. So that's why we went straight with what the recommendation was.
Now, and you guys you're selling this also to the general public, right?
That is correct. Yes, it's available in our retail stores. Anyone can come by one of our locations and come in. We do have a limit that we have placed on the amount that they can buy so that someone couldn't come in and just hoard it and resell it. So we're trying to make sure that it's available to as many people as possible. So we put a limit of currently it's 14 quarts, which is basically 3.5 gallons. Or you can purchase 4 gallon containers, or you can purchase 1 5-gallon container.
Now, you said yours is not a gel, right? It's more of like a liquid?
That is correct.
But it does have gelatin.
I think it probably does. It has
Smaller amount.
some of the, I can't speak to that exact, but it's pretty liquidy. It lends itself to spray, not so much as a pump bottle with gel, like a lot of the gels.
I'm a fan.
So, I would love to talk a little bit more about what that process was like and how long it took you to actually set up to do that, because I think that's super fascinating that you guys can go from making paints to actually making paints. I mean, I know breweries did it too.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
In our manufacturing plant, we have several lines that are dedicated to manufacturing paint, and so what we did was just shift into moving one of the manufacturing lines into making sanitizer, and that allows us still to make paint products in some of the other lines. But yeah, it's a process of going through and making sure that we've cleaned out the lines and making sure that we have the proper equipment to make sure it's dispensed at the right quantities. So.
Back in a moment.
making hand sanitizer, and I've got to bring myself back in and talk about useful information. We know it's sold in quarts, gallons, and 5-gallon buckets. What about PPE? Can we get PPE through you guys too, or is it just hand sanitizer?
No, we are doing a lot of efforting to make sure that we have as much PPE available to contractors and the general public. The one thing that is almost impossible for anybody to get right now are the particle masks. So those are not going to be available in our locations, but we do have nitrile gloves in our locations. We've been working. We're carrying a disinfectant that is EPA registered to kill coronavirus, as well as a whole variety of germs, other viruses and bacteria. We're carrying empty spray bottles in order for people to fill with disinfectant or hand sanitizer. We're carrying cases of water, things that we think are available for, that the general public or contractors would, appreciate us having, as well as the hand sanitizer. Very complimentary things.
So how long did it actually take you guys, and like how much manpower did it take to make this shift? And was it obviously just a portion of your company, right? Not all of it. You still, I'm sure, manufacture paint. You didn't see something.
Yes, we still manufacture. Yeah, we still manufacture paint, and like I said, we shifted some of the workforce over to making the hand sanitizer. So we are, we were able to keep people employed and moving in that direction. And like I said, it took approximately a month of hard work and getting things prepared, to set it up and get it ready. And then once we got all the approvals and we got the raw materials in, then we were able to start the manufacturing process.
Now, I want to go ahead and give out our off-air number. You can call or text to get these, and it's really great prices, probably 20-25% less than what you could buy it for. And then we'll tell you where you can find them, and our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Just text DYCO, D-Y-C-O, to 813-377-2775, or you can call 813-377-2775, and we will give you one of the discount codes so that you can purchase paint. Can they use this for the hand sanitizer as well?
Yes, they can use it for the hand sanitizer, but we're already selling the hand sanitizer at contractor pricing to the general public as a courtesy.
Great. And so where are your locations? Because you guys have 6, right, including Ocala?
Including Ocala, there are 6, yes. So we have a location in Clearwater on Almerton Road. We have a location in St. Petersburg off of Central. We have a location in Tampa off of the corner of Kennedy and McDill. We have a location in Carrollwood on Dale Mabry Highway. And then there's a location in Ocala as well as a location in Largo.
Now, are they DYCO? Does the sign say DYCO out front?
It has we have a sort of a dual logo. It's Sun Paints and Coatings and DYCO. So you'll see the Sun logo, and next to it will be our DYCO shield. So it should have a dual logo on it.
That is perfect. That is perfect. So tell me about your company. Like, were you guys able to keep all your people during this COVID-19, or did you still have to furlough anyone?
Well, we have been very fortunate, and to this, as of today, we have not actually furloughed anyone, not laid off any workers. We are keeping everybody, working, and we're blessed in that regard.
That's awesome. And actually, coming up, we have a whole bunch of information from the CDC website on, what the plan is to reopen America, if you will, into 3 different phases. And so we're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. Is there anything else you want to add for the person listening, Mark?
No, I appreciate the the support from your show. Appreciate the support from the general public, and we really, trying to do the best we can for our first responders and those who are in the front lines and working, hard to keep people safe. And, our fire and police and emergency response teams and, our military, everybody, our police force, we just appreciate everybody.
Well, we had Anna on last hour, and you must the same thing to her that I said to you, that I want to say to you. And I love the companies that are really, putting people first and making those adjustments. And I appreciate the fact that you delivered all this stuff to the first responders, just as something to do in the community, without charging for that or trying to make a profit off of it. And it says a lot about your company. And I think people,
Thank you,
including myself, will continue to support businesses like that in the coming weeks and months ahead that always did the right thing first.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
So our off-air number, in case you would like to connect with them, get some more information about their product, and you heard a raving review from Leo talk about how he loves the way that it's made up and it actually lasts longer. And do you have any information or facts on the percentage of how much longer it lasts? Do you know any of that?
I can't recite the exact. I don't want to misstate anything. I've always tried to be as honest as possible with people, so I don't want to misstate anything. So, but it's a extremely high quality product that we sell, and I'm sure that we've always had satisfied customers for now going on 50 plus years.
Maybe
so.
Leo at least has an opinion on that. What do you think about you're talking about how Benjamin Moore is your favorite paint because of the way it's made and the chemical component, and it lasts longer. How much longer do you think it actually lasts?
There's two different versions of how long paint lasts. One is how long the color is going to last, and one long is how the molecule is going to bond to the wall before it starts to become chalky and fall off. Mm-hmm. So, there's two different aspects to that.
So what's your opinion?
There's 5-year paint, there's 7-year paint, there's 10-year paint.
And how do you think this one stacks up compared to other paints?
Which one, Dyco?
Dyco and Benjamin Moore.
I'm not as familiar with Dyco as I am with the other ones. I'd like to become, and that's why we have them on the show, so I can become more familiar with them.
That's right.
But yeah, I've heard good things about Dyco. I've heard great things about Benjamin Moore. These would both be prime choice candidates for myself, especially if I'm using hand sanitizer.
Definitely.
Yeah, but it's like shingles, paint, hardy board, plank, Trex. They rate them for a certain amount of years, and just like you mentioned earlier with the isopropyl alcohol, it's got their percentages. They have to meet certain guidelines. So all of them that do it meet these guidelines to create these products that they're claiming have this much lifespan.
Makes sense to me.
My politician answer.
All right, Mark, thanks so much for joining us again this morning. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well. Thank you.
And again, you can call or text to get the vouchers for
I would love this voucher.
The discount code. I'm going to give you one right here.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775.
They're up in Ocala? I didn't know that.
They have a location in Ocala now.
That is awesome.
Number 6. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the CDC guidelines in terms of opening America back up again. And so
making America great again?
Well, we're just talking about the CDC guidelines right now. But phase 1 is for individuals, and they're still suggesting that all vulnerable individuals still continue to do the shelter in place. Now, the definition of a vulnerable individual per CDC is elderly individuals. So I think they're counting, 65 and up in their numbers is what I've heard. And individuals with serious underlying health issues, of course, like anything from high blood pressure to chronic lung disease, diabetes, obesity, asthma, and those whose immune system can be compromised as the chemotherapy when they have chemotherapy for cancer and other conditions requiring therapy. So they're considered vulnerable individuals. And so they're saying also members of households with a vulnerable resident should be aware that returning to work or these other environments, where social distancing is not practical, they can carry that virus home still. We're not allowed to So, for example, parks, outdoor recreation areas, shopping areas should maintain maximum physical distance from other. I think we've been trying to do this for a while, right? And then social settings of 1 to 2 people. They want to still do that. But distancing is not practical. To avoid it, we told them not to minimize the use of roads and also avoid any social distancing. Social means again, it's kind of more same thing. So they're talking about even like receptions, trade shows. I don't think they're wanting those to reopen quite yet. And also minimize any non-essential travel. And here's all the CDC guidelines regarding.
Well, you should be minimizing travel today anyway because of the weather.
Well, it's been a while. So yeah.
I'm a liquor distributor. I'm a home inspector. What else do I need to be?
I missed a lot there.
I'm anything you need me to be, baby. Anything you need me to be. Okay, we got the DDC 3-phase approach.
So here's the thing.
It's common sense.
But here's the thing. They're not even giving us really a timeline of when they're going to, like, it's not like a date when phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
No, I figured there'll be a national announcement and there'll be a big light that goes, phase 1. Ching!
Yeah. But the map on CDC is really scattered, showing like where the most cases are and that sort of stuff.
Well, I would think the rollout by phases would also be by region, wouldn't it?
You would think.
This is me guessing. I don't know. I know
think.
I'm in the media and I'm just guessing, admitting I'm just guessing.
You would think. That's kind of the point, right?
Yeah.
But they're saying that they want to see a critical downward trajectory of the virus. So reported illnesses for 14 days prior. They need to see a major like downward trajectory before they're going to open up these phases and allow them to move forward.
So yeah, phase 1 is pretty much what
kind of
we're
what
in
we're
now.
doing now, it seems like. Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a phase to reintroduce people, and that's what we're currently in.
Well, they are going to open, though, parks and recreational areas and shopping areas. So maybe malls and that sort of stuff. But they still want you to maintain maximum distance from each other.
Hey,
and hang out in less than 10 people.
Life changes now. I will never allow myself to be in settings of social public again. I'm just going to hermit it up.
There's some stuff for employers, too. So they still want employers
encourage
to
to teleworking, turn to work in phases, close your common areas, and minimize non-essential travel. Again, it's common sense. It's kind of what we're doing now.
Close common areas. So that means nobody can use the kitchen. Nobody can use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Those are common areas.
Yeah, it's
not very clear.
Good on paper. It's not going to be very well defined.
Well, think about it. Common areas, like legit, that's our conference room, that's our lobby, that's our kitchen, that's our bathrooms.
Places you have to walk through.
Right here. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
hey, let me ask you guys a question. Isn't today a great day to go look at homes when it's raining so you can find out all of the problems?
The day after the rainstorm. You have a rain like today, it's the day after is the best day.
Okay, I just thought maybe when it's raining you could check there's leaks in the windows and where the water is puddling in places. And I just thought, today would be.
When it's raining, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I always like the day after the rain because that's where you can see the residual and what actually is going on.
Because I say that we got round number 2 moving in right now from the south of us, moving northward. This morning's moved from the north to the south, so another one's coming through, another band of pretty bad weather. The skyway, you can barely see it. So if you're on the roads right now, be prepared. It's coming again.
Is this going to be all day, Pat, or when is this supposed to clear up? This afternoon?
It should clear up the majority of it by 11 a.m. We're under a tornado watch until 11 a.m. for Central Florida.
Love it.
And it's coming back through, so, possibly more tornadoes. Luckily we didn't have any, but we had about 3 house fires this morning in all this rain. And what was caused by that? Go on, Leo, tell her.
Space heaters?
No.
Lightning. Leo.
Lightning, yes.
Lightning. There was so much lightning this morning.
Or as we like to say in its native Indian tongue, Tampa.
Yeah, that's true.
Tampa.
So, yeah, just be careful. And right now, the whole interchange, we've got a jackknife semi with a fuel leak right in the interchange with an accident blocking left-hand lane. So if you're out on the interstates and you're going through downtown Tampa, plan accordingly.
I wonder how that happened, the fuel leak. Like, that's pretty...
Well, no, when you slide and run into the embankment or you run into guardrail and it cuts those gas tanks.
I mean, I expect, so you have roads that are traveled on not too heavily. It's been dry for a while. This is our first real rain. All that oil slicks up, and it makes it very dangerous on the road conditions. The first heavy rain of the year is always the most dangerous.
Very true. Yeah, very
So
true.
it doesn't surprise.
And now that was all the bad news. The bad news we gave you. The good news is when you get Adam Talley on the line here in just a few minutes, you got to wish him and his wife a happy anniversary. You know, he's got the day off because he's enjoying his happy anniversary. I told him, you know, after a couple of years being married like he is, you know, they'll enjoy that together. But after you've been married 20 years, a great happy anniversary is spending time apart, away from each other.
We are looking for you on Zoom, Adam, so you're not coming in until we see you on Zoom, FYI. So, all right, so let's continue with phase one, Leo. So still...
Phase one's common sense up until employers closing common areas and not being told how to do it. Bathrooms, limiting non-essential travel. Phase two is where things get interesting. Phase two is where...
And strongly consider special accommodations for those who are personal members of the vulnerable population.
Yes.
You missed it.
Can we go on to phase two now?
Go on to two.
Because we're basically in phase one right now. Phase two,
Sorta.
we have schools and daycares, and that stuff opens up. Venues operate with physical distancing. It'll be interesting because they usually try and cram people in those like sardines. But sit-down movie theaters can open. Churches can open.
So I wonder what they're probably going to have to sell just a limited number of tickets, right?
Yeah, probably sell those
So like
tickets.
if you sell a group of 2 or a group of 4, you can assume that's all, you know, a party that would normally live together, right?
Yeah.
And so I wonder how many seats or spaces they're
They're
going
going to have to leave 6 feet of space between, is it a box? So they have the row in front of them, the row behind them. So you're cutting your venue capacity into a
They're
third.
going to have to spread somebody out. I would think at least a third, maybe a quarter.
Yeah. Elective surgeries can resume. Maybe I can get my teeth cleaned because that was canceled the day after the announcement. My 6-month teeth cleaning. Gyms can reopen. This is an interesting one. Bars can reopen with standing room only capacity. That one I don't understand, but that's part of phase two.
Diminished standing room.
Yeah, but diminished standing room occupancy. So no seats, standing room only for your bars, but the bars will be reopened. That'll be very interesting to see how they play.
But when they do open that standing room only, how close can they get?
Well,
I don't know. I mean, it's a bar.
It's a bar. They'll
I mean, they could really pack it in. I mean, you could stand there in the bar and pack it in if it holds 300 people.
Like Publix and Winn-Dixie do with those stupid boxes, stand here box, stand here box. and to think, I'm not going to want to go out to the bar to drink by myself in a square. I'll just stay at home.
Well, I mean, think about
I know
it,
a
too. Like when you go to a bar to order a drink, where is everybody congregating to get a drink? Right at the bar,
In a
right?
line,
And then
yeah.
even if
And when is phase two supposed to go into effect?
there's no time.
There's no timeline. I really think it's
Okay.
going to be by area specific.
It should be.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I really think that's how it'll plan out. Again, as a media person, I'm saying that as a guess. That's not a fact. It will. I believe, it's an opinion that it'll be phased, but it might all go into effect at the same time for all we know.
And did you hear the rumors that Disney would not open until 2021?
No, I did not. You would.
Yeah, well, that was all over Facebook. Yeah, I have not confirmed that, and people have called me and asked me, but, you know, it's unconfirmed, but the rumors are out there not till 2021.
I know.
I find that impossible to believe.
Well, I've seen where I've got a good friend that does a lot of interviews for Amazon, and he was saying he's actually been interviewing people that have had, you know, 2+ decade employment careers at Disney, applying for jobs like Amazon and,
Wow.
you know, Walmart. I mean, I talked to a guy yesterday that is literally working at Walmart that used to work like for the Bucks for USF, you know, and he's got a job at Walmart. So it's interesting. We'll see. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how all this shakes out. Now, individuals on phase 3 is where they're saying the vulnerable individuals can react kind of as normal, but they still want you to maintain social distancing. I think the the definition of vulnerable individual encompasses a lot of people.
Vulnerable individuals are elderly individuals, individuals with serious underlying health conditions, including high blood pressure, chronic lung disease, diabetes, obesity, asthma, and those whose immune system is compromised by such as chemotherapy for cancer and other conditions requiring such therapy. That's it. Okay, I read the whole thing.
Well, I'm looking at it, and technically, when you look at the charts and stuff, I'm considered obese, so I guess I'm technically
I was going to say
high risk.
Category 2 would just be American.
Yeah, perhaps.
High blood pressure, so type A's, chronic lung disease, smokers, diabetes, people who eat too much sugar, obesity, people who eat too much, asthma, people who can't breathe, and those people with cancer and or recovering. So pretty much if you fit into any of those broader categories that I just mentioned, you would be considered a vulnerable individual.
Yep. All right. So I think Adam finally has joined us, sorta, by Facebook.
Yeah, that's a sharp-looking headshot.
I know.
Other people use sharp-looking headshots.
I can't get him to I'm trying to get him to turn his video on.
And then when we hit phase 3, pretty much when we hit phase 3, everything goes back to normal except the vulnerable people who I just mentioned need to limit and still practice social distance. And again, no timeline, and I guess phase 4 would be everything by themselves?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Talley. Do we have him on the air, Pat?
No, we do not. I'm off air telling you this. He was here. He's gone off the phone.
Pat's saying.
Oh, he's
Pat-
only on Zoom. He
Pat's
says
saying
you're
you are not on the air.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're
No, he's not on the phone. I can hear him in the background there, but he's not on the phone.
Call the station number, Adam. The 888-404-1010, and just leave your Zoom on.
no. Okay. All right, well, you guys have a good weekend. Thanks.
No, stay on Zoom, but call the station
Oh
number.
my. Oh my. So now the listening audience gets half the conversation. We're trying to get Adam Talley on for his 2-minute insurance tip.
Yeah, come on, be nice to this guy. He's having his anniversary today. You're breaking up his
I
anniversary.
want to know what you're doing for your wife. Now that, especially the COVID-19's in place, you're going to have to do something a little different. Are you cooking her dinner? Or
Breakfast
what are you
in
doing?
bed. They're just going to stay in bed for the whole day. They're going to make little Adams.
They might. You don't know.
Hey guys, good morning.
All right, so what are you doing for your anniversary with your wife?
That you're allowed to tell us. This
Yes,
is an
on
HBO
the air,
or Cinemax, so tell us the non-HBO version.
We're just enjoying some extra time together and enjoying a extra day of not dealing with the stress of work for a day. So it's very nice.
And so can you unmute yourself on Zoom as well so our Facebookers can hear what you have to
This is
say?
so convoluted.
I know.
Adam, you are missing, since you didn't come in, our mints today are Tic Tac Fruit Adventure mints. I just did a promo, didn't I? I meant to do that.
Yeah. I can't unmute on Zoom and call in because then you'll have a huge echo.
That is true.
Okay.
So there won't be a...
Huge echo with the delay. Remember, we have a 7-second
All right.
delay.
So we're going to break on the air. So perhaps you can just give the insurance tip while you're off of the air real quick on Zoom while we're on a commercial break. And then we come back for those of you listening live on the air.
And then you can hear the difference between the two.
Yeah, we'll do our insurance tip of the day.
813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. Text the word insurance tip of the week.
That's our off-air number. So stick around. We'll be back in a minute. We're going to go to our last break of the show, and then we're going to finish strong with insurance tip of the week and Mr. Adam Talley. Stick around.
Here, I've got Adam Talley on the line for an insurance tip of the week, which I just heard
Are you sure? Just kidding.
Yeah, well, I'm here.
Yeah, I think I just heard the Cliff Notes version. Do I get to do the same bad jokes again, Adam? Do you want me to do that?
I didn't even hear your bad jokes the first time, so you have permission to proceed.
No, don't do that.
Maniacal Final Fantasy VII laugh there.
There we go. Well, tip of the week this week is I just want to remind everybody out there that pretty much all of the auto insurance carriers that I've seen are doing somewhere between a 15 and 20% credit back to their policyholders. Now, that's only based on 1 or 2 months of premium, not your entire premium. So keep that in mind. And I have heard of some of our commercial carriers that are starting to starting to fall in line with that, even on products that aren't auto. So some of our, the business owners policies I've seen with Liberty Mutual. So I think that's going to be a little bit more common. So just look out for that. And the other tip, yes, sir.
Do I qualify? You're my agent, so find out if I qualify for any of these discounts.
I have not presently seen anything from any of the carriers that you are currently with, but that doesn't mean they're not planning something. Well, Liberty Mutual is the only one I saw that mentioned something about doing something commercial. So, unfortunately, but all of our other carriers, it's mostly on the personal auto side that I've seen the discounts come. So I'm sorry to disappoint there. But the other tip, and I want to remind everybody as we're sitting here and it's storming outside, that there is a 30-day waiting period on flood insurance. So if you're thinking about getting flood insurance before hurricane season, now is the time.
I mean, they didn't want people hurrying up getting a flood policy and then making a flood claim?
Yeah, well, I believe that'd be insurance fraud, but they do that to avoid.
Right? If the storm hasn't rolled in, you don't know, but it's coming. But I think that happened. I bet.
Yeah, I mean, they do it to avoid. Yeah, they do it to avoid somebody getting it only because they know a hurricane's coming or a hurricane's close. So that's why you have a 30-day waiting period, unless you're buying not a brand new house, but you're buying a new house. And you're in a flood zone, and it's mandatory by your mortgage company.
Oh, then you have to have it. That would make sense. Yeah.
Then you have to have it, yeah.
If you're buying a new home, right?
Yeah.
There's no waiting period.
Yeah, if you're buying a home and the mortgage company requires it, we can do it day of.
All right.
Day of the storm.
Well, we're getting some additional money.
Yeah,
this passed yesterday.
Awesome. Yeah, there's the number keeps going up. I like this. Now it's another $484 billion in funding for the small business loan program. Hospitals testing.
That's amazing.
Fourth installment.
That's amazing.
Coronavirus relief to combat a growing public health crisis and remedy an economic freefall.
I'm a little bit concerned
I think we
about
need
all
it.
these checks we can't cash.
No, well, taxes are going to go way up. We're basically going to become socialist in the next couple of years with the taxes. 25 to 50% of your income to the government.
Some of us might already be there.
Hopefully not the 50 part of that.
I mean, we're $2.8 trillion in relief has to come from somewhere.
Let's print more money.
Good point.
Well, even if we're printing more money, it still has to, then our dollar devalues and the money still has to come from somewhere, and then our $5 gallon of ice cream becomes 20.
So California, they totally are like 50% taxes almost.
Yeah, I know.
Between their state and they're just taxed to death.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll see if we ever need to get a state income tax, since we don't have any of the tourism dollars coming in.
Or the impact fees from the building construction. Actually, that's still happening.
That's one of the biggest draws to Florida. That's one of the biggest reasons why people move here. So if they start charging a state income tax, we're going to lose some of those people that would relocate here, and they're going to go to other places. Like
I got a stupid question. Why does so many people come to retire in Florida care about income tax?
It's a valid question. I think it's more about the weather and the other things as well.
Okay.
But overall, I think our taxes are less, right? When you look at places like Massachusetts and New York, everything's a little less, tax-wise and cost-wise. Agreed?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Adam.
100%. I think it's weather. But, all right, guys. Well, hope you guys have a great weekend, and everybody stay safe out there.
We think you should have made your 100% bed for your anniversary.
Who says I didn't?
Did you?
I can cook. I did not. No, I can cook, but my wife is a phenomenal cook, so there's no reason for me to get in there, but I do help out from time to time. But anyways, guys, thank you so much, and everybody have a great weekend. See ya.
All right, Adam. Thanks for the tip for the week. And
I like how when people are on the phone with us on the air, they do the on the phone goodbye.
Yes.
It's kind of funny.
Yep.
Love you too. Bye.
We still have a few of the coupons left, so if you call or text us at
813-377-2775, you can get a community discount with Dyco paints from Some Paints and Coatings.
Yep, and we've already established that their chemical component is a little better, so hopefully your paint should last a little longer. And they are everywhere from South Tampa, North Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete, Ocala, Largo, literally 6 locations all around the area to serve you.
Yeah, all the way up in Ocala.
And they sell hand sanitizer.
That is awesome. Where's my hand sanitizer in here?
In the little
spray.
bottle.
Is this made by Dyco?
No, we ordered that actually well before the crazy pandemic, and we had so many of those little hand sanitizers left from our home show.
Oh, it burns. Is it supposed to burn?
It's got alcohol in it.
Ah, I got in my
You got
cut.
a cut in your hand.
Ah,
Oh.
burns.
That's a good thing, though. Think about it, because then you know the hand sanitizer actually worked.
I know it's at least 75% isopropyl alcohol.
Is that the burn rate?
The burn rate. I don't know the burn theory on isopropyl alcohol to open cut.
At what point does it start burning, right? It has enough alcohol in it.
Oh, this has been a great 2 hours. We should do this more often.
Yes, I've had fun. It's it's way more fun having our guests in the studio. I miss them being in here.
I
Don't
do.
you?
The last guest we had in the studio were Ren Fair mud skippers. We're still cleaning mud off the ceiling.
So at what point do you think in this phase, Leo, it would be appropriate for us to have guests in the studio?
Unfortunately, we aren't that big of a studio. Probably phase 3 at least.
I was thinking 2. If you can open large venues with social
We're not a
distancing.
large venue. We're a 6x6
I'm
green
saying
room.
If you can open large venues, you should be able to open,
We're media. We're exempt anyway. So we're just
with our guests.
All you have to do is put that nice sofa in there with a longer microphone cord.
common sense. It's just common sense.
The gyms are reopening phase 2, y'all. Haven't already.
I'm cutting back my drinking and my eating.
All right, well, this is Tampa Home Talk. Leo and I, the last 2 hours, we've enjoyed talking to you. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to us. And our off-air number is 813-377-2775. And love where you live.
Love where you live.